Got to Go Bold Season 2, Episode 3 with my fellow Portugueseman, great friend, Lil Jr. How are you feeling, mate?
I'm amazing. I'm so happy to be on this. Finally, I've been here for years. I've been here for years watching, but I'm here now. I'm here now.
Mad, mate. Please check out Lil Jr's content creation. It's amazing on YouTube, on Instagram, like on TikTok. He moves mad. You're in every single avenue, mate. It's phenomenal to see, and you're making us Portuguesemen extremely proud, mate. So keep going bold. I really wanted to give this first message, but it makes sense. Portugal played yesterday. The first topic here in episode 3 is Portugal. 3 games, 3 wins in the Nations League. How are you feeling with our Portuguese national team, JR?
I mean, with Portugal, I'm very, very happy with them at the moment. I feel like we're really getting the best out of like our tactics and stuff, the best out of Ronaldo. I feel like we didn't do much of that in the Euros, but I feel like
Martinez.
I feel like Roberto Martinez has really learned his lesson, and he's really getting the best out of this Portugal team because Ronaldo, even an aging playing like Ronaldo. I mean, Ronaldo's still Ronaldo, but he's still scoring goals now, and you know, we're just playing really good football at the moment. It's nice.
Yeah. And going with what you said, JR, I completely agree. I think Roberto Martinez, compared to the end stages of Fernando Santos, he knows how to play much better Cristiano Ronaldo. But yes, the World Cup was an issue. The Euros was an issue. We're not going to think about that. We're going to think about the future, and the future currently of Ronaldo is in a much better state of mind. Let's not forget that when he's in the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's not a defeated man, because this man, his mindset is never defeated. But he had a tough time at Man United, and he came back, went to Al Nassr, and look at this stat line, JR, to go with what we're saying. Cristiano Ronaldo is the player with most goals scored since the beginning of 2023. 95 games, 87 goals, 20 assists. He averaged a goal involvement every 80 minutes at the age of 39. This is just a perception.
It's honestly crazy because a lot of people will obviously not really respect the Saudi league, but to be able to do that at 39 is very, very good. Like, the numbers speak for themselves. This is not a normal player we're talking about. We're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo, the guy that's been doing it for years.
The best finisher in the history of the game.
Exactly. Got the most goals. He's always been that guy, and even when, you know, he's not at his best, he's still gonna perform. Very true.
Do you think, and that's the big question I ask every guest here in the FC Wonderkid podcast here in season 2, do you think Cristiano Ronaldo will get to the 1,000 goal mark? 94 goals away.
Oh, see, the thing is, it's tough. Because I reckon I could see this happening in maybe another 2 or 3 seasons. But is it going to happen in the next... Is he going to stay in football for the next 2 or 3 seasons is the big question. Realistically, if he stays at it...
Is it at Al Nassr?
Exactly.
So let's imagine Cristiano Ronaldo stays at Al Nassr another 2 seasons. Plays for the Portuguese national team consistently. Does he score 1,000 goals?
I think so. I think he just makes it, or is very much just under.
I think he's going to make it, mate. Because, yes, in my life, when I doubted Cristiano Ronaldo, there was a little glimpse of time that happened that, let's not forget to English fans, okay? English fans, please do not forget this. The last player to win a Ballon d'Or that played in the Premier League. I know Erling Haaland was close. I know Virgil van Dijk was close. But the name remains the same. It's Cristiano Ronaldo with Sir Alex Ferguson, with the glorious Man United that is very different nowadays. So it's still the record, what we've seen. I was then, with that injury, I had doubts. Will he be that same guy at Real Madrid? And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, he shut me up. That was like when it happened. Then I never doubted, and then he repeated also too. But going back to the Portuguese national team, personally, with this game with Poland, I got a bit mad that I saw Ruben Neves starting. I respect the legacy of Ruben Neves. I think he's a very mature player. He wasn't starting at Porto at the age of 18, but this is a new generation. I want to see Vitinha and João Neves starting together for Portugal, because in terms of retention, in terms of decision making on ball, in terms of movement on and off ball, Vitinha and João Neves are pure examples of modern day midfielders. Do you also agree with me that they should start for Portugal, or at least one start together?
I definitely agree. I feel like Roberto Martinez should definitely test that. I think that, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ruben Neves is a very, very fundamental player in the sense of that he can do it. He's not a bad player. He's a very good player. He's been consistent. He's done well. But like you said, with the new generation, we do have to try new things out. And I feel like Vitinha and João Neves would do very, very well together because they already played together at PSG. So it makes sense. They will have that chemistry already. And it just makes sense to try it because they are new players and we are getting towards that newer generation.
It's very true. That newer generation that we're talking about. And some names that, yes, we all know about João Neves. We all know about Nuno Mendes. But please pay attention to a Gustavo Sá that is balling out at Famalicão. Pay attention to Giovanni Kenda at Sporting. Rodrigo Mora at Porto. And Gonçalo Inácio, one of the best ball distribution center backs in the world of football right now. Left center back for Sporting. There's so many good names. What is the name that you're most hyped to watch for Portugal? What's the Wonderkid that you like the most in this Portuguese national team, JR?
Ooh,
Hard
that's a
decision.
good. But I really do like that young winger from Sporting.
Kenda.
Yeah, Kenda. He looks very, very exciting. I mean, to be called up to the national team at that age is
17.
something. It
That
shows
was mad.
something. 17 years of age to be called up, especially with the attacking competition that we have. He has to offer something special for sure in order to be called up. So I'm very excited about him for sure.
Completely agree with what you just said. And going with another talent that is popular here in the FC Wonderkid channel. We warned you guys 4 years ago about Nuno Mendes. I'm gonna a challenge. This is episode 3. I wanna have some challenges for the listeners, and we will be checking the YouTube comment section, me and JR, to see if you actually can beat this challenge, because for me it's impossible to name currently 5 left backs that are better than Nuno Mendes. And in terms of national teams, I'll be honest with you, I've never seen a left back as good as Nuno Mendes for the Portuguese national team. I'd say Coentrão. Fábio Coentrão was insane, but the longevity that Nuno Mendes can have, he's played with Messi, Neymar, and Mbappé on the same team. He's got that experience. Like, let's imagine, JR, we're having a coffee in 20 years' time here in Lisbon. We're saying, remember when Nuno Mendes was in that PSG team? And now he's a legend. He made the right choice. He was hated for it, but he did the right choice. And it's quite crazy if you think back. The Sporting team that won the title with Ruben Emery, his first title, had Nuno Mendes and Pedro Porro. Look where they are now. Pedro Porro playing beautifully for Spain, and Nuno Mendes, the guaranteed left back, best left back in our national team. How are you feeling? Can you name me 5 left backs better than Nuno Mendes, JR?
Definitely. I feel like as of right now, I mean, obviously there's the debatable Theo Hernandez, Ferland Mendy, and then there's just many other ones. But honestly, Nuno Mendes is very much up there. Nuno Mendes is a very good player. He's our left back situation, apart from Fabio Coentrão, has always been a bit shoddy. Like, it hasn't been the best. But now, with Nuno Mendes being very, very solid and being that key player that we need at left back, he offers defensively, he offers attackingly. Honestly, I had a little bit of doubt about Nuno Mendes as well. I thought maybe he wasn't up for it because I hadn't watched much Nuno Mendes, but especially after that Euros and other stuff like that, I realized that he's a very, very key player for us and that he defo deserves that left back spot, and he will stay in that left back spot for a long time.
And do you think that the left side of Portugal, Rafael Leão and Nuno Mendes, do you think it's the best left side in terms of national teams present and future?
Ooh, that's a very, very good question. I mean,
it's us
obviously
or
you
France?
see, yeah, realistically, yeah. Obviously, with us, I feel like not right now. We will see in the future, but I say we are definitely up there for one of the best.
Top 3.
Rafael,
Top 3.
yeah, for sure. Rafael Leão, obviously. I mean, a lot of people say I look like him, but
Do you think Rafael Leão has the potential to win a Ballon d'Or, JR?
See, the thing is, he's like 24, 25 now. So the thing is, I don't know. It depends. I feel like he might have to move away from AC Milan in order for that to maybe be achieved. But he's happy at Milan right now. He's very much rossoneri. He's like he loves the club. The club loves him. It also makes sense to stay and maybe become a cult legend for them. But I feel like for his career, he might need to move just because he might get that respect he deserves like a lot more. Because if you see him, say we see him in the Prem or something, and he cooks in the Prem.
If he cooked in the Prem, I completely understand. But like for AC Milan to sell Rafael Leão, it has to be more than 100 million minimum,
for sure.
And not a lot of clubs can pay that. Who would you believe could pay that and make Rafael Leão a Ballon d'Or type player? I look at the situation of Barca and I think, Rafael Leão, a future striker at Barca, and Lamine Yamal at the right. Nico Williams in the national team, Lamine. Rafael Leão at Barca. That's two amazing realities for Lamine. Do you agree that a Barca would be a good opportunity for Rafael Leão?
Oh, for sure. I feel like a Barca would be good. It's honestly whether they could afford him or not. Barca could be good for him, but yeah, it's just that question of money because honestly, Milan will not be looking to let him go anytime soon. For 100%.
Sure. 100%. And AC Milan, the biggest difference from an AC Milan to an Inter, and they want to solve this, is when you look at Inter, Bastoni, that I love that take on Sky Sports this weekend. Bastoni is one of the best center backs in the world of football. Whoever said that is factual. Saliba, Van Dijk, he's at that same level currently, okay? But what makes Inter special is that the best players stay at Inter. Lautaro stays, Bastoni stays, Di Marco stays, Barella stays, everyone stays. And if AC Milan is going to match that same level, Mike Maignan has to stay. Theo Hernandez has to stay. Rafael Leão has to stay. Tonali didn't stay, but you can say it was kind of a masterclass because they anticipated what was going to happen to Tonali, and they get Reinders, which was an awesome buy. So in order for Milan to be that team, I like your argument saying him becoming a cult legend for the Rossoneri, which is one of the most historic teams in. But we're mentioning loads Portugal here, and give us your thoughts. Is there a better left back than Nuno Mendes? And your thoughts about Portugal too. The Nations League. Who will win the UEFA Nations League? It's still early. Portugal are obviously contenders, but what's the other national team that you're like, okay, we got to pay attention.
One I can say that we don't need to pay attention to is England.
He's already stated, like, I'm not going to do this job. What is the FA going to do? For me, the best realistic option for the FA is to get Graham Potter. He's an English manager. He knows what he's got to do. He knows the players. He's been at Chelsea. Yes, it didn't work out, but look what he created at Brighton. Okay, that was insane at the time. So, what are you leaning here with the England manager? Because that's one of the issues.
Honestly, with England's manager, I don't really know. They're in a really sticky situation as of right now. I mean, Lee Carsley, his football is interesting to say the least. I mean, it's definitely
You're
interesting.
being respectful, mate.
I'm trying to be as respectful as possible, but yeah, his football's interesting, and like there's not the manager market, especially for international managers as of right now, is not very good. A lot of the top quality managers will definitely be looking to do more club football than international football.
True. It's more, imagine, like what happens with managers is in the later stages of their career, they take the risk to go to national teams. But if I'm looking at national teams, the two biggest jobs in terms of national team is Brazil and England. Brazil has only had Brazilian managers in their history, which is a mistake. Yeah. They should have gotten José Mourinho or Jorge Jesus or Abel Ferreira that are dominating in Brazil. Mourinho dominates wherever he goes. But England is the job that we've seen Fabio Capello in the past. We've seen foreign managers. It's unrealistic what I've got to say. But the best possible chance for the FA is Man City getting the accusations, going down, relegated, and Pep Guardiola being like, look, I like England. If I'm earning more than 20 million a season, let's go. England manager. Wow. That's the best possible outcome. Because is this the best generation you've seen of England? Jude, Foden, Saka, friends. Even Colville is balling out currently.
I mean, to be honest, England's team is very talent star-studded, especially at such a young age. The team is young. They've got the time to develop at least. So it makes sense. I mean, Pep going to England would be insane. Insane, by the way. That'd be so crazy. I mean, England have always had somewhat of a talented side. I mean, they had a very golden generation with obviously Rooney, Beckham, Gerrard, Lampard,
Rio.
but they didn't work together.
Terry.
But Rio, exactly, bro. Their team was
Insane.
star-studded, but but it didn't work out. It didn't work out. They couldn't mesh
And
together.
you feel
But
like this one, you feel that they're fellows, they're teammates,
yeah.
they're colleagues. There's a
Yeah,
better
they're-
environment now in England than the former generations.
For sure, because I feel like the former generations definitely let their rivalries get to them. But with this England team, they're definitely meshing a lot better. You know, they're actually friends off the pitch as well. So it's just it's better to see them actually hopefully perform better as a team.
Amazing statement, and that's something that in the dynamics, the group dynamics, that's 100% very, very important. But with this England team, before we're gonna talk about Cole Palmer, and listeners that are screaming in this video watching, why didn't you say Cole Palmer? Look, I realize I should have said it, okay? That's why I'm saying it now. But the best England team, it's impossible to have a Cole Palmer on the bench, a Trent Alexander on the bench, a Harry Kane not performing to the level that he should. Because yes, you really believe Harry Kane doesn't want to win a trophy this season. You really believe Harry Kane refuses the millions of a Premier League giant to go to a Bayern team that he's earning a lot too, but it's the numbers are not the same, okay? From Premier League to a Bundesliga, but Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich with the intention of being the best striker in the world and the best striker ever in England history. What are your thoughts about Harry Kane currently? Because he gets a lot of hate. I see loads of pundits in England saying, Harry Kane until the World Cup, no more. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, honestly, with Harry Kane, it's completely understandable why he made that move to Bayern. I mean, he's been seeking out that trophy for a long time. He was very loyal to Spurs. He could have made that move, but he didn't. He decided not to. So, and Spurs weren't letting him go. And if he had that opportunity for Spurs to let him go, I mean, obviously not to another Premier League competitor to Spurs, but to somewhere where Bayern obviously naturally dominate the Bundesliga and potentially he could pick up his first trophy. I mean, he got to the semi-final with the Champions League last season. Bayern are not a bad team, and their own exactly. I mean, Leverkusen were just out of that world that season. But you never know. They could go back. They could win the league this season. Harry Kane gets his first trophy. He's happy. And with the team that Bayern have, especially Musiala, Elise now showing that he's definitely one of the best wingers in the world. He is an incredible player. I watched him a lot throughout Newcastle. Not in Newcastle. Crystal Palace.
And Reading too. He went from Reading to Crystal Palace. That's great move. And it was Queen's Park Rangers, Eze to Crystal Palace. This is Crystal Palace is underrated with smart moves. Out of Morton now, out of Blackburn, Oliver Glasner as a manager, like he's underrated. Like won a Europa League with Frankfurt. So I like what what Crystal Palace are doing in the market. Let's see. It's interesting. And how long does Zaha stay too? It's not easy to keep your stars. And Mark Guehi, he hasn't left. And there's a lot of interest. Okay, with the England, interesting. Wanted to ask, so on the French national team, and because yes, I'm not a big fan of France because we've got our own beefs, 2016. Then we have the last Euros. If France loses, I'm happy as a Portuguese. But I want to give a heads up on this because I think this should be worrisome. If I was a Frenchman and I saw my best players saying, look, I need some rest. I'm focusing on winning the Ballon d'Or next year. I cannot play non-important matches. What? So you mean to say the French national team, a friendly, a Nations League game, whatever it is not important enough towards you getting the Ballon d'Or, Kylian Mbappé? That's embarrassing, and Cristiano Ronaldo would never never say no to play for Portugal. Mbappé, please review this, okay? I know he's not listening to this, or if he is, please review this, Mbappé, because if you're gonna win the Ballon d'Or in 2025, is being the best player, not just for France, but for Real Madrid also. And I cannot see this. Would you agree with me with him saying, like, I don't want to play these 2 games, I gotta rest because of the amount of games? What's your take on it, JR?
I mean, at the same time, I understand. I somewhat understand from his perspective because obviously there's a lot of games to play. But as the national team's captain, you cannot be saying things like that. I'm not gonna lie. You should not be saying things like that. If you want to be a leader of the national team, you cannot be saying, "Oh, I need the rest" and stuff like that. You're gonna have to play on and play for your country because Nations League is. I feel like Nations League is very, very disrespected. I mean, I understand it's growing. It's a growing competition. It's new. It's still fresh to people. But at the same time, it still should be taken seriously because at the end of the day, a trophy is a trophy, and and you're building up your way to do that. So those breaks, I mean, at the same time, they can be tougher players. I mean, you've obviously seen players like Odegaard and many more players get injured, but at the same time, it's still, it's still important. It's still important to still be able to play for your nation, And I feel like a lot of players these days are starting to, kind of devalue playing for your nation when it's a very important thing.
Very well stated. Very well stated. I gave the example of Kylian Mbappé not playing these 2 matches because he wants to rest more. Understandable in the terms of physical sense because of the amount of games, but Kylian Mbappé resting is something Cristiano Ronaldo would never do, and another player that will never do this, I believe so, is Lamine Yamal. That we saw the heart that he had against his French national team in the Euros, against the German national team in the Euros, against an English national team in the Euros. Lamine is the kryptonite of Real Madrid. And if Real Madrid players are currently thinking like this, like Mbappé is, I'm not too hopeful for the future. But I'm talking about Spain. It's the last one on the Nations League that I think we should be really focused. It's the Barca impact of Spain. I said it to Faisal. I don't know if you had the chance to see that. I said, Faisal, a strong Barca team means a strong Spanish national team. Faisal couldn't agree or disagree. He didn't want to give his thoughts since he's a Real Madrid fan. But what are you thinking about the Spanish national team and Barca going forward?
I mean, naturally, that it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, Lamine Yamal being one of the star players at such a young age of 17, he's obviously not only the future of Barca, but the future of Spain as well. Dani Olmo signing for Barca, doing extremely well after a beautiful Euros campaign that was obviously very, very underrated. Dani Olmo, what a player. But
good move from Barca. A lot of people were like 100%. Saying, oh, Barca, why didn't you get Nico Williams, this, that, and the other thing? You shouldn't have got Dani Olmo. Did people expect Rafinha to be as good as he is? Imagine Nico Williams came. What would happen to Rafinha? That's 60 million down the drain in terms of confidence. And this says to Rafinha, we're going to trust you one more year because we know who we want on that left wing if it doesn't work out. It's Nico 100%. Williams. So
do you think Rafinha's backed his talk.
Exactly.
Rafinha has backed his talk. I mean, he's heard all the talk and stuff like that, and it's therefore motivated him because honestly, he's been doing really, really well for Barca this season. So honestly, you gotta give props to
Lewandowski for real is back, back. I did the start bench cell with Faisal of Luis Suarez, Karim Benzema, Lewandowski. How would you put start bench shell these 3 players?
Whew, that's a tough question. Honestly, if we're saying prime, like actual prime, I'd put Suarez start. Yeah. This is so controversial.
I start Suarez
obviously. This is so controversial because one of them is technically won a Ballon d'Or, but I'd sell Benzema.
I get you. In terms of striking ability as a striker, I get you. But the best campaign, and Faisal, we agree with you, I think, on this sense. The best of the 3 that had the best campaign in a competition was Karim Benzema in that Champions League campaign. Like being the leader of the young guns of Vinicius, Fede Valverde, Rodrigo. They still didn't know how to win. And Benzema was their leader. But yeah, in terms of career, Suarez and Lewandowski, for me, are better than Karim, the Dream, Benzema. And yep, this is a good bridge, Junior, because I did say to you that we were going to do this topic, and I'm very curious to see who are your choices here. And guests at home, please comment down below who for you are the top 5 transfers of the summer transfer window currently right now. That we see and we're like, this was the right move. I'm going to start here with a player that we mentioned briefly with France, Olise. Michael Olise currently is a top 5 right winger in football for how good he's playing, and Bayern Munich have scored 33 goals in 9 games. A lot is it because of Olise next to Musiala with Harry Kane in front of them. I'm very excited for what we're going to see with Olise, a player that is finally getting his just dues. How are you feeling with my choice?
Honestly, I completely agree. Honestly, Olise has been incredible. He's been naturally incredible. I mean, for the second half of the season in 2024, he got a goal and assist in every Crystal Palace game. He played and for a team like Crystal Palace, and to obviously level up with Bayern, it's only going to make him a better player. So it's not surprising to me at all. I saw what he could do for Crystal Palace. So for him to play in a world-class Bayern Munich team, he's always going to shine. Naturally going to shine.
Well said, mate. Well said. Do you feel like a Jamal Musiala and Olise staying 5-10 years at Bayern, they can match the legacy of a Robben and Ribéry?
That's a tough one. They're young. They're young. So it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I'll say that for sure. But they have very big pressure on them to fill those boots, because those boots are big. Those boots are big.
Completely, JR. So yeah, we agree. Olise, one of the top 5 transfers from the summer transfer window until now. Second player, I'll say Samu Omorodion. What a move from Porto to get Samu from Atletico de Madrid in the mud, okay? Having Alvarez and Sorloth, and then seeing an academy player like Samu being as good as he is straight away. Trust what I'm saying. Samu is the future of Spain. He should already be called up because he's inevitable to me in that Spanish national team. 7 games, 7 goals. Physically, he's so strong. Heading, finishing, mobile. Like, in terms of talent, raw talent, he's one of the best under 21 strikers in football right now, Samu Omorodion. Porto hits right on the money with him, and I'm very excited for the future that we're going to see at Porto. Do you agree with what I'm saying, JR?
I definitely agree. Samu is someone I'm very, very excited about to see. That front three of Samu, Nico Williams on the left, and Lamine Yamal for the future is going to be scary. It's going to be scary to face, honestly.
Next World Cup, you believe that's the front 3?
Potentially. If Samu keeps doing what he's doing, potentially. I mean, Morata's aging, so, he has been the captain of the side, but he is aging. And, they're going to be looking to see who that next striker is. Maybe Ferran Torres or something like that. But I feel like Samu might potentially shine more.
Yeah. I ain't feeling Ferran Torres. No, I ain't feeling Luis Enrique is no longer the manager, okay? Luis Enrique, and I don't know if you know why I'm stating that. His daughter was dating Ferran Torres, okay?
True.
Or even married.
True.
Let me know in the comment section down below. But I know they're together. But yes, Ferran Torres, interesting enough. Samu, I think he's got to be on this list. So we have Michael Olise already. We have Samu. Do you have a player that you want to be adding here to the list that's mandatory, JR?
I mean, for me, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I've watched him week in, week out. Riccardo Calafiori. Oh my gosh. No, what a beautiful man as well as a talented player. He's such a good player. I love the way that he's composed on the ball. He's now activating Martinelli as well, because Martinelli has been somewhat performing now. He's been doing a lot better. But Riccardo Calafiori, his composure on the ball, the way he can play it out from the back, he's a very, very good player and a very
center
big
back
asset
and
for
left
us.
back, and the amount of space he covers. With what you said, Martinelli, go forward. No worries. Calafiori's behind you. And the balls he puts. Like, that's the thing with Calafiori. I got a bit... This is going to be... Some Arsenal fans or City fans can be not annoyed. City fans definitely know, but Arsenal fans. I didn't like the move of Zinchenko. I didn't like the move of Gabriel Jesus. I like the move of a Calafiori. Why? Because he resembles me a lot of a Joško Gvardiol. So don't get the players from City. Get the players that City is getting type beat. You know what I mean? Joško Gvardiol and Riccardo Calafiori are very similar players in terms of their resume, their style of play. They're both strong. They're both fantastic in ball distribution, both fast, both good on one-on-ones. So for me, completely agree with what you said. One of the best summer transfers that we saw this season. Completely. Ricardo Calafiori. Do you say like the best Arsenal defense possible is like Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba? Do you put Ben White or Timber at the right?
Right now, Timber is really knocking on that door for Ben White right now because he is not underperforming to the slightest.
So you'd say the Arsenal defense of Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, David Raya is the best defense in the world of football?
See, the thing is, it actually backs up. It actually backs up to say it is one of the best, if not the best. Because
for me,
right
Saliba's
now,
irreplacable.
Oh,
there's
for
no
sure,
player
100%.
I would pick ahead of Saliba. Maybe Bastoni, but Saliba, I'd keep him.
Saliba, I'd keep. Gabriel being such a threat in corners as well, and also being defensively solid. You know, honestly, it's like when I see Saliba and Gabriel, I think good cop, bad cop. You know, Gabriel's there to be that dominant player just in case Saliba.
That bulldog and Saliba just like eloquence.
Eloquence cleans it up, but Gabriel always being that bulldog, winning the headers as well. Bukayo Saka, we have to talk about his season with the amount of assists he's getting consistently, game by game.
Do you think Bukayo Saka is overhated currently in football? Because I'm starting to think that.
I've always said he's been very overhated. I feel like what he's done for Arsenal, especially with the situations that we've had during lockdown and even that transition after where we bottled top 4, we didn't win the league twice. He's always been that key player for us. He's always done well. He's been consistent. And when Robert Pires came out and said that he wasn't consistent, I couldn't believe my eyes because all I've seen is a consistent player that loves the badge and will always put 100% for this club.
Saka at the age of 23 has more than 200 games played for Arsenal. He has got more than 60 goals and more than 60 assists. This man has given everything for the badge completely. He's played left back, he's played left winger, he's played right winger. He's played everywhere that was needed for Arsenal. I think he's the best player in the Arteta era. I think he represents the Arteta era the best way. Talents, developments, and now he's at the top of the world. But it's just trophy. We gotta see trophies, JR.
Yeah, we gotta see trophies.
We'll get to
that. We'll get to that.
So we got Calafiori, we got Olise, we got Samu. Who are the other transfers that you say the listeners at home got to give respect? I'd say João Neves to PSG. I think that was a great deal for them for the amount of money to 50 million plus 10 million in add-ons. That was a great deal by PSG in my eyes. So I'd put him also too. So best deals in the summer transfer window, I'd put João Neves, Samu, Olise, Calafiori. I agree with you. Any other name like a Scott McTominay? You think is the
Scott McTominay's been very good for Napoli at the moment. He's doing very, very well. Honestly, I feel like now that pressure of being that United player, honestly, I completely get it because that pressure of being a United player very much gets to the players because they're a club that asks for a lot. True. Man United, they're the biggest club in England when it comes to history. All time, it's Man United for sure. So for the players, it's a lot of pressure, and they haven't been successful with the managers that they've been getting, and they've been losing some games that they should be winning realistically because they're Man United. So
14th in the Prem.
And yeah, exactly. It's insanity. And honestly, for a player like Scott McTominay to make a move out of that, it's very good for him. I'm very happy for him that he's been able to find his feet at Napoli. I mean, you've seen it with players like Chris Smalling as well. They moved away from Manchester United. They start performing well. So it's like we've seen
Sancho.
it. Sancho. You've
Sancho's
seen
like
it. You've seen it everywhere. There's so many examples of players that have moved away from that. Yeah, literally. There are players. You've seen so many examples of players that have moved away from that Manchester United negativity and started performing well. Their pressure's lifted off of them, and they've started to show the player that they truly are.
So true, mate. And it's good that you're pointing out the pressure because it's very different to play at Man United and to play at Napoli too. There. Look, Napoli, what a comeback season it is. You get Conte ball. You say to Osimhen, you're not the guy. We got Lukaku now. You get Billy Gilmore. You get Scott McTominay. Like, Napoli this season moving mad and in first. But I think who's going to win Calcio is going to be Juve. That Thiago Motta ball with Francisco Sissão. Another player we can put in this talk of best summer transfers. So we have best summer transfers. We got Samu, we got Olise, we got Calafiori, we've got João Neves, we got a mention to Scott McTominay. Another player I'd put 100% there would be Hugo Ekitike. He's mad numbers at Frankfurt, playing really well with Omar Marmoush. Guirassy also at Dortmund having a great season for the transfer fee he cost. And Portuguese bias, but I'm watching him very close. Kerem Aktürkoğlu, the Turkish magician at the left wing. Please pay attention to this player. Underrated, okay? Because
Very
he's
good
playing
player.
so
Very,
well
very good player.
at Benfica. Atletico lost 4-0 for a reason. Kerem Aktürkoğlu was one of those reasons. So let us know down below what are the transfers that we missed and should 100% be mentioned. No managers, just players, okay, people? But yeah, since you're an Arsenal fan, JR, I'm dying to know your thoughts about this. What are you thinking here with Arsenal this season? No Odegaard until December. Do you think Arsenal's going to win the league?
I feel like it would be massive mentality. No, it would be a big mentality to go on and win the league, especially without our captain, Martin Odegaard.
But there's no Rodri at City.
There's no Rodri at City. There's no Rodri at City. That's a massive player. It's not obviously our situation is not ideal. For the full season, no Rodri. City are gonna have to find a way to fix that. I mean, Mateo Kovacic has been doing well. You know, he did well in that game.
True.
For when they didn't have him. So, you know, he's kind of stepped up, but at the same time, we also need to step up as well. And which we have been. I mean, mentality wise, I feel like we maybe a season or two ago, we wouldn't have won that Southampton game where we went 1-0 down. Bukayo Saka stepping up, getting 2 assists and a goal, changing the game completely. So I feel like, you know, we naturally have leaders on the pitch, even without Martin Odegaard. And obviously, it will help stuff. Obviously, when he returns and stuff, that's only just going to help us out. And we're going to really show that we are not to mess about this season, honestly.
So Arsenal minimal this season for you, JR, is top 2. Minimal. What if
100%.
Liverpool finishes top 2?
Then it's City third place. Because I'm just saying, because honestly, I will go bold. I don't mind. Listen, I genuinely believe that Arsenal have something to offer this season for sure. Like, we have the depth. I mean, the fact that Ben White, who was a key player for us last season, one of the players this season, right back of the season, is now getting outplayed by Urian Timber. That shows we have depth. Because if Urian Timbers, say, picks up a knock, we have Ben White. We know he's solid. We have so many players now to the point where they're showing the young talent at Hale End, Ethan Ranieri, Lewis Skelly. We have so many players that are actually proving their worth now, and Arteta is really showing what this Arsenal team can do.
I see. The big doubt for me is 2 things, obviously. It's the goal scoring with Arsenal. I do not, don't put my faith in Kai Havertz like a lot of Arsenal fans do. And my other question mark is, Partey gets injured, what happened? You got Merino now, but we haven't seen him still. So if Mikel Merino was balling out with Declan Rice, I'd be much more hopeful saying Arsenal are going to win the league. It can happen. Havertz is scoring the goals. Trossard can score goals. Saka can score goals. But if you got a striker in January, like a Victor Gyökeres, and you have Merino balling out in January next to a Declan Rice, my statements here completely change with Arsenal. But I put Man City ahead. Even though Rodri is going to be out, because 100% they're going to sign a replacement in January. Rumors says it's Zubimendi. Liverpool fans in the mud with that. And I also believe that Liverpool might finish ahead of Arsenal, JR. Arne Slot, he's convincing me. Because I was of the camp of saying Gravenberch. I don't know if it was the right move to go to Liverpool. And now, I ain't talking. I ain't talking. Gravenberch is one of the best midfielders in the Premier League currently. Luis Diaz is playing great football. Konate is one of the best center backs in the Premier League. And there's a legit chance that they convince not all three to staying. Virgil van Dijk, Salah, and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the last year, but at least convincing two of them. I believe that can be the case. And if I asked you, JR, you can only convince you can only convince two of these three players in their last year of contract at Liverpool. Van Dijk, Salah, and Trent. Who would you keep? Two players.
It's really,
and
really
who
tough.
would you let go? I would keep 100% Trent. Youngest, cult legends, one of the best right backs ever in history of the Premier League. And if he retires one day in the Premier League, 100% he'll be perceived as that. The other player, it's Salah or Van Dijk. I'd keep Van Dijk because of leadership.
I feel like it's time for maybe Salah to go. I'd maybe keep him for one more season at most. But I feel like if you want to maybe get some money out of him or something like that, I'd defo say Salah because especially with the attacking depth that Liverpool already have. I mean, they signed Chiesa now. This season, he's gonna obviously shadow Salah as that right-sided player, and then hopefully he, gets into that Liverpool system and starts doing well. Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, Jota, Gakpo. They've got so many attacking options. It's not the end of the world for them to let go of Salah. So I'd defo try and keep Trent and Van Dijk.
So, but are you of the camp? Like currently, I would love Trent Alexander-Arnold to stay longer at Liverpool at least. But do you think Real Madrid can make happen Alphonso Davies and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the next summer transfer window? That would be as impactful as getting Mbappé.
That's a cheat code. I'm sorry, that is such a cheat code. Like, if they end up getting both, I actually I'm not watching football that season. I promise you, I'm not watching football that season.
Don't say that because it's
obviously
Perez we're talking about. We were talking about Florentino Perez, man. This man moves. Mad.
No, but
I want you to watch
mad.
football, JR. I want you.
No, that's obviously a joke, but it shows that if they got those two players, Real Madrid are complete. There's no excuse. They have to win every single trophy, as well as the depth that they have on the bench. Arda Güler not even starting. Like, bro, there's so much to that Real Madrid side that it's actually so unfair if they get those two.
He was injured. That's why he wasn't playing. Yeah. Now he's not injured. So where is he gonna play? Is it left back? And if Alphonso Davies comes, he's definitely not playing at left back. So 100%. Interesting. But going back to the Prem, so I did you the tough question with Arsenal, but tough questions, it's no, we won't do the best 11. That can be another day. But I wanted to ask you, who for you, JR, is the best player in the Premier League currently?
Obviously, Haaland's up there. I mean, striker, there's no other person other than Erling Haaland. He's bagging
best
the goals,
striker in the world that he's scoring currently. Haaland.
Yeah. He's bagging the goals that he's scoring. Like, yeah, we're seeing a very good Haaland this season. I mean, naturally, Haaland. So I'd have to put him up there. But I can't lie, even as an Arsenal fan, I have to give my flowers to Cole Palmer. He is a very, very good player. The 4 goals in one half, that is a record to be said. The 4 assists. Like, honestly, this Cole Palmer guy is...
4.
What about 4? Cole. The guy is incredible. He's incredible to watch, and he's an incredible player who actually puts up numbers.
Deserves to be the English Player of the Year. 100%.
100%.
Good. I love that, and I give you big credit to that because there's a lot of Arsenal fans. I don't think they'd have this level of IQ in the terms of not IQ, but this honesty to say like, look, Cole Palmer, good on you. What a season you're having. And being honest with you, Chelsea fans, if you're hyped right now, in 2 years' time, oh boy, because Cole Palmer, yes, he's the best English player currently, but Chelsea has Kendry Páez that is regarded as one of the biggest talents ever in Ecuadorian history, and then they have William Estevão, that English fans, if you do not know, William Estevão, currently, right now at the age of 17, is the best player in the Brasileirão. He's the reason why Palmeiras are fighting to win the Brasileirão with Abel Ferreira. Estevão, a player that for some is as talented as Neymar when he first started. Not for me, okay? Not for me. But They say Estevão is one of the biggest phenoms leaving the Brasileirão after Neymar Jr. And that's bold. That's bold.
a very
so
bold
future of
statement to
Chelsea
make.
with Kendry Paes, Cole Palmer, William Estevão, Noni Madueke, you have to ball out. João Felix, you have to ball out. Jadon Sancho, you have to ball out. I'm very curious to see how Chelsea is going to be in 2 to 3 years' time. But do you think it's going to be with Enzo Maresca? I like him. I like Maresca.
him. I like him too. I feel like he's doing a very good job with Chelsea so far. I feel like he's really getting that balance of players that maybe some of the other managers couldn't get. Maybe obviously Graham Potter and Pochettino. He was Cucurella as well. He's getting the best out of Cucurella. Cucurella is doing fantastic this season. So yeah, no, I completely understand. I think Maresca might be the guy to do it. Obviously, there's still a lot of time to be given to him, but as of right now, he's the guy. He's the guy for sure.
And last question on Premier League, and it's Man United, me. It's any chance I can speak to someone that lives in England. It's like here in Portugal, Erik ten Hag isn't respected. Plain and simple, okay? People look at Erik ten Hag and don't see a top 10 manager in football here in Portugal. They say, just like me, Ruben Amorim is a better manager than Erik ten Hag. That English fans, Hugo Viana, the sporting director of Sporting, will be the sporting director of Man City next season. They're anticipating Erik ten Hag is going to be fired, and the number one manager in the list to replace him ain't Thomas Tuchel long term. It's Ruben Amorim. And if Pep Guardiola leaves City with the sporting director being Hugo Viana, 100% the number one candidate is also Ruben Amorim. How are you feeling with Erik ten Hag with all this pressure? Because this is just in Portugal. Worldwide, everybody's looking at him saying, what are you doing to my club at Man United?
And honestly, with him, it's yeah, man.
I got beef with
very
him.
sick.
But what happened with Ronaldo? I got beef with him. Like, I hated the way Ronaldo left Man United. He scores a hat-trick against Tottenham after the death of his son. Like, no, let's be human here. Ronaldo at Man United lived tragedies in his own personal life. The decency that Man United had to have, and the respect is to say, Ronaldo, anytime you need me, we're still here. This is still your home. Alex Ferguson would do that treatment to him. Why
100%.
didn't Man United do the same now? Because of Erik ten Hag. I cannot, like, this man. De Gea too. Look how De Gea leaves Man United. As a legend? That's how you treat your legends, like Ronaldo and De Gea? Mate. Oh, and a McTominay now. Scottish legend. Oh, my days. But yeah, it's 650 million spent since 2022. Erik ten Hag at Man United. Like, I cannot. It's mad. What are your thoughts?
I think it's crazy the fact that he's even, still in the job. I'm very surprised he's still in the job. I feel like the FA Cup win did really save him, but I feel like even the players have had enough. Even obviously the fan base have had enough. They're just done with the guy, honestly.
Kobe Mainu, man. He saved them. Kobe Mainu in that FA Cup game was unreal. The kryptonite of Rodri that game. Like, Kobe Mainu. And for the Man United fans, the state, Erik ten Hag's trust Kobe Mainu. Mate, Kobe Mainu is inevitable. That level of talent in your academy in Carrington, there's not other players like that. That type of player is inevitable to get his chance. And look with England too. He cherished it and he owned it, okay? So I cannot, oh my days, it's mad talk for me, the Man United talk. But let us know down below, what are you thinking here with the Premier League and with Man United? Are you also, just like me and JR, mad with the situation? Because, yeah, a challenge that I'm going to do to the people, and I do to you too, JR, that it's name me one player that has improved madly with Erik ten Hag and Man United. Diogo Dalot? He signed the league. Martinez was signed. He had some good glimpses, but consistency like a Saliba, like a Ruben Dias. Like, see, Anthony, the 90 million guy. He should be the guys that Anthony should be the player that's like Erik ten Hag. Mate, thank you so much for this opportunity. Anything you say, I'll do. Because I'm earning more than £300 a week. 300,000 pounds a week. That's what you should do. That man backed you financially, so back him too in his life. As a manager, this is so crazy for me. And the fact that he can't convince that locker room with leaders like a Casemiro there, something is off with that team. So yes, let us know down below. What are you thinking? And yes, we have the question of the podcast. We didn't have the question at the start of the podcast. It's going to be here at the end, here in episode 3. My big question for JR is, who, JR, you believe will win the Portuguese League? How are you feeling with this?
See, obviously as a Benfica fan, I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried. Like I believe that we could potentially do something, but we cannot ignore Sporting. Ruben Amorim doing really, really good stuff with them. Undefeated currently. Gyökeres, the way I wanted this man to sign for Arsenal this summer so badly, bro. So
As
badly.
a
I was
Benfica fan
begging.
and Arsenal fan.
I was
It's like the
begging
perfect
and
reality.
pleading. I was begging and pleading for this guy to sign. Honestly, the way I see that player play, he is incredible to watch. He's such a good player. Like, but for the physicality that he has and the movement on and off the ball, he's such a good player, and it's a player I'd really want at Arsenal. Not only for obviously Arsenal reasons, but for Benfica reasons too. So
you say Gyökeres best player in the Portuguese league currently?
Definitely,
No doubt.
Definitely,
And
no
would
doubt.
Gyökeres make Arsenal the winners of the Premier League if he was signed in January?
I agree. I think he is that killer instinct that Arsenal need. I feel like he's that killer instinct that we are kind of missing at the moment. That could be that makes Arsenal winning the league a certainty, not a possibility.
He'll cost you 100 million. You'll cost you 100 million.
I know. But I feel like Gyökeres, what I've seen and knowing what he can do, I feel like that makes the Arsenal winning the league not a possibility, but a certainty. For sure.
Bold statement. And yes, so you believe Benfica is going to win the Portuguese league, even though they got a tough battle against the Ruben Amorim Sporting and also a Porto team that is
I
growing.
believe we can. I believe we can, but I'm not going to ignore Sporting. The way the Sporting are looking at the moment, I'd maybe say them. But it's not over for Benfica yet, obviously. Still very early into the season.
And this could be Portuguese bias for some people, but I 100% believe that Sporting and Benfica will both go through in the Champions League stage. Do I believe there'll be top 8? At least one of them. One of them. And if I ask you, Sporting against Arsenal, here a score prediction for Arsenal against Sporting Arsenal. Score prediction.
I feel like that if we, like, no bias aside or anything like that, I feel like an actual result that could happen is either a 2-2 draw, a 2-2 draw, or we scrape a 2-1 win against them away from home, which will be very, very tough. It will be very, very tough, but I feel like the actual fair result is a 2-2 draw.
Love it. And you said Gyökeres. Is there any other player that in the Portuguese league you're like, oof, I love to watch them? Or as a Benfica fan, is there a player that you will never forget wearing that Benfica jersey?
I mean, Jonas, what a player! What a player he was! What a player he was
from
for
Valencia. He's one of the best strikers I saw in the Portuguese league. I would put Gyökeres in the same level, but Falcão for me is the only one I'd say ahead of.
Falcão as well.
Shit. That Falcão was sheer incredible. Like the goal that he scored against Braga in that final of the Europa League. Like tenacity.
What a player.
Sheer tenacity. And for Colombia, one of the best players in Colombian history too. Interesting enough. And I said it was the last question with the Portuguese league. I want to ask you this, JR. Do you think Neymar will return to his best self?
I believe he can.
Neymar in the Brazilian national team in the future balling out as a leader?
I believe he can. I don't think it's impossible. I feel like Neymar has been really serious about his recovery. You know, I feel like his motivation is somewhat there. Yeah, I feel like his motivation is seriously there. He's seriously there. I feel like, you know, he's not here to mess about. And I feel like obviously Brazil love Neymar. The national team love Neymar. They all aspire to be like Neymar. So Neymar being in that national team, even if he's not at his best, will still motivate the players to be their best selves. 100%.
I do think he's very hated too, JR. Just being devil advocate here, just like Cristiano Ronaldo is inevitable for you to have lovers and to have haters, and they both are strong characters. And in Brazil, there's that Comentador Net, which I think he's got many takes that I don't agree with. He's very critical about Neymar, and that's one of the flaws of his takes. Like, you shouldn't be critical to the Prince of Football, one of the best players I've ever seen. And I do the same question. I think Neymar will return to his best self. I think at Al Hilal, there's a real chance that Al Hilal with Jorge Jesus balls out, okay? And people are like paying attention more to the Saudi League because Jorge Jesus with this Al Hilal team, with Marcos Leonardo and Neymar, imagine that the Brazilian fans are like, look, we should have this in our national team. And then we have a Brazil national team with Jorge Jesus, Neymar, Marcos Leonardo that started from the Saudi League to the Brazil national team. That would validate a lot the Saudi League. And I could see it happening. I could see Jorge Jesus leaving Al Hilal to go to Brazil one day because we know what he did with Flamengo. He changed Flamengo, winning a Libertadores and a Brasileirão in the same week. In the same week, I had friends of mine in Rio saying, this is the best week of my life. Beer was being thrown. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was insane.
And Pogba. And also Pogba too. Like with Pogba now, he reduced the sentence from 4 years to 18 months. So we can see Paul Pogba returning in March. Yeah. So what do you believe about that with Pogba? Do you think Pogba will return to the French national team like we believe Neymar will return to the Brazilian?
I feel like naturally, he will because honestly, with Pogba, Kante did. Pogba's always been that leader, and I feel like, especially the Euros, they were definitely missing a player like Pogba that could change the game, that could, play that ball in behind to Mbappé, Griezmann. Obviously, Griezmann's now retired.
Rabiot against Lamine Yamal, we saw him being exposed in daylight. Pogba wouldn't let that happen.
Definitely not. And I feel like Pogba, having that experience and stuff like that, there's no way he doesn't come back as the player that he could definitely be. So I feel like Pogba returning to football can only be a positive, for sure.
What a way to end it. Thank you so much, JR. Follow JR on TikTok, IG, YouTube. What a conversation it was. Fellow Portuguesemen, I absolutely love this episode 3. Let us know what you agree, what you disagree in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video and click on the ring bell because that's always a great help to the channel. And yes, thank you so much, JR, for being here in the FC Wonderkid podcast season 2.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you, JR, and people for going bold.